everybody. Nice to have everyone here. My name is Chloe and I am the Busuu Clubs Manager. It's nice to meet you all. For folks that just walked in, we are recording this session. None of you are in it. It's just myself and the screen. It's just so that folks who can't be here today can watch this video, and then any folks who want to start a club after this session's already happened, they can just watch the video. So like I said, my name is Chloe. I am the Busuu Clubs Manager. I graduated from Brock in 2019 from the Goodman School of Business with a business administration degree, and I concentrated in marketing. I worked in corporate for 4 years and then wanted to come back to post-secondary because I just love it so much. And I love working with students. So that's a little bit about me. So why you're all here today is to start a club. So just the agenda that we'll go over today. So quite simply, why start a club? What to know before you get started. Contact me, the club's manager. Attend an information session, a lot like you're attending today. Complete club summit training. You submit a ratification package. Submission review process. Then you get a notice of approval. And then you're officially a Busuu Club. So now what? What can you do? So before we get started, if everyone can pull out their laptops or cellular device, if you have it, and please go to brockbusuu.ca. Good. All right, so it's called the hamburger menu, but it's the 3 lines in the right-hand corner. Click that. You're gonna see clubs. Please click that. Good, everyone got there? Perfect. See the box, there's gonna be 3 boxes. It says clubs directory, which is all the clubs that we currently have. You can search for them. The club toolbox, that's for folks who are currently a ratified club, and that's all the resources that we offer them. You see the 3rd box that says start a club? Please click that. And you're gonna scroll. You're gonna scroll for a little bit. It's gonna take a couple swipes. And you're gonna see a header that says like ratification. You see how it says complete the ratification form? On October 21st, when ratification opens, that is where you're going to go. That form is going to be live, and you can click complete now, and that is how you submit a ratification form. One thing to note, it's gonna want you to log into the Busuu website. You just need to put in your BrockU email and password. You gain experience. There's several academic clubs, and a lot of those folks join those clubs so they can kind of beef up their medical school or law school applications. I write a lot of reference letters. So that's one way. Like you folks said, you meet new people. I found personally for me too, being a business graduate, I only was with business students and we kind of all think the same. So it is nice to have a club where you meet new people and meet folks with different life experiences and kind of get outside your comfort zone. You plan fun activities. You can do meetings, you can do events. There's a lot of things that clubs do, whether it's on campus, off campus, that you can kind of enhance your experience that way. It's a great resume builder. I know a lot of folks who are in like the leadership positions, so like president, vice president, treasurer. It's really good leadership opportunity, and it really beefs up your resume. Helps you build skills. Obviously, working with other people is a challenge, as we all know, and it just allows you to broaden your skills more, whether that's conflict management or leadership or just speaking to folks who just maybe are more of a visual learner or an auditory learner. Like you kind of learn and develop your skills that way. You get great volunteer experience. Some clubs are solely volunteer. For example, we have like a Best Buddies club, and they work with an outside organization that deals with a lot of youth with disabilities. So they volunteer a lot of their time to help folks with like disabilities and kind of bring them out with fun activities around the community. You actually get a lot of club perks. You get funding. You can have a banner designed for you. You can have a poster designed for you. We print you posters. There's just a lot of perks to being a club. Like folks said, networking. It's a great way to network. You never know who you're going to meet. I will say right now, I have this job. Well, part of the reason I have this job is because a girl I met in first year also works at Busuu, and she helped me get this job. So she said, hey, I think you'd be great for this role. And I met her first year, and she lived on the same floor as me in DeQ. So you never know who you're going to meet, and you never know where it's going to take you. Funding. Like I said, clubs do get funding for your activities and events, so it's great to have things that are funded by Busuu. And you can plan fun events. For example, we have a Lego club, and they're planning on doing an event in Toronto for like a Lego convention. So like everyone who loves Lego is going down and like gonna go check out this convention and like all the different builds, and yeah, it's really cool. So there's a lot of great things to starting a club. Is anyone here a graduate student and planning on having a graduate club? Yeah.
I want to have a mixed club, both undergrad and grad.
Okay, all right, I will explain then. Are you yourself though a graduate student? Yeah, okay, I will explain. Okay, so if you're an undergraduate club, so if you're an undergraduate student, it means you're starting an undergraduate club. So for that, you had to have a minimum of 3 executives. So that's your president, your vice president, and your treasurer. On top of that, you have to have a minimum of an additional 7 members, so a total of 10 members in order to start a club. If you don't have those 10 names, I can't ratify you. It's in the policy, I can't do it. So you make sure you have your president, your vice president, your treasurer, and then an additional 7 members. Bless you. If you have, let's say, like 3 executives, and then you want to have like an events coordinator and then a marketing coordinator, obviously that puts you at 5 people, so then you would just need an additional 5 members. So 80% of your club members, if you're an undergraduate student, so you're an undergraduate club, has to be current Brock University students. And yes, I check. And 20% can be community members or Brock alumni. So let's say you're an undergraduate club. So there's plant-based at Brock. They're all about like being plant-based. They are an undergraduate club, but a lot of graduate students join their club. So we just have to make sure that only 20% of those graduate students are a part of the club and 80% are still undergraduate students. Executive members have to be undergraduate students if you're an undergraduate club. You have to offer services that are different than clubs that currently exist. We cannot do duplicate clubs. So let's say we have a traveling association, and then you want to create a club that has to do with traveling. We can't because we already have one. If you're thinking of starting a cultural or religious club, I by no means am a cultural or religious expert. This job has definitely expanded my horizons on a lot of things, which I love, but I'm also, again, not an expert. So if you want to start a club that you know already exists with Busuu, but you're like, hey, I want to try to have a different club because it's a different, let's say, branch of that religion or culture, you just have to explain that to me in the form. And try to be as detailed as possible, because sometimes I get like 2 lines and I'm like, nope, that's the same as this club, and then I deny it. So I just ask you just give me as much detail as possible just so I understand like where you're coming from. A lot of times too, I'll set up a meeting with you just so I can kind of understand where you're coming from, like what's going on. You have to adhere to the rules and regulation in Clubs 500 policy and policy 501 club funding. That is actually attached to the form that you're going to be completing, under step 3 where it said complete the ratification form. As you're completing that form, it's going to have you get to the step where it's like, please review these 2, and then you're going to click a box that says I acknowledge. Those are all hyperlinks you can read through. I understand it's boring and it's not great to read. Please read it though, because it's what like me and the rest of my team are tied to following, as well as yourself. So in Clubs 500 policy, for example, we have all the rules that have to do with elections. We have all the rules that have to do with ratification. We have all the rules of what we do if there's club conflict. Like, it's pretty black and white. So please read that. We also have a completely new policy just having to do with club funding. So what is club funding? What can clubs ask for? All that stuff. So please read it. And just so you know, when you click I acknowledge I've read it, I'm assuming you've read it. So if you come to me next year and go, I didn't know we were supposed to do this. I'm going to say, well, you acknowledged that you read it and you said you knew. So please just make sure you read it. I don't expect you to be experts in it. Just please have a general understanding of it. I always recommend club executives just save a copy of it on their desktop or phone and just Control F and just try to find whatever it is that you're looking for in the policy. And if you don't know what to do or anything, I'm there to answer any question that you have. And lastly, complete the Club Summit training and the ratification package. So again, in that package you're going to be completing, I'm going to have you complete Club Summit training. Essentially what that is we have all clubs in February go through a week of Club Summit training. It's not as intense as it sounds. We have a leadership session, so it's just someone from Brock coming in talking about how to be a leader and all the different skills that requires. There's a presentation that I do, it's called Clubs, and I literally break down every single thing that clubs have access to, perks, etc. We have a session all about risk management and CIRMA, which I'll discuss more once you're all ratified. And then we have a session all about human rights and equity, and essentially that session is all about how to deal with cases where if a club member or club executive comes to you and divulges personal information, what do you do with that? Because for a lot of these clubs, the club is their safe space, which I love, but there's sometimes some heavy things that can happen and we don't expect you to always know what to do. So we just kind of give you the tools and resources on how to handle it. But of course, myself and my team are always there to help, and we're never going to leave you in the dark. So that's for undergraduate club. With you being a graduate club, everything still applies, except the only difference is 80% of club members need to be graduate students, and then 20% can be undergraduate students.
What if I want to have both of them as executive members?
They'd have to be graduate students.
Only?
Mm-hmm.
It cannot be mixed with both?
Nope. Yeah. Another thing too that we have is the club's handbook. So just over there, you folks can grab it on the way out. Tatiana will have them there. It's the club's handbook. Just lays out everything, all the fun things available to clubs, how to club, that sort of thing. All right. Yeah.
Sorry. So instead of a president and vice president, can you do 2 co-presidents?
Yeah, you can do 2 co-presidents if you wanted, because I'm just assuming then you both would take on the duties of a vice president. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else? No? Okay. All right. So next thing, after you attend the information session, you can always contact me. My email is clubsmgr@brockbusu.ca. If you type in Chloe Villers in Outlook into the send, you're gonna see that it says NB_ and then a bunch of like words. That is my Brock alias that I use to log into Brock platforms. You're welcome to email that email. It's out in space. I have no idea where it goes. I'm not getting it. So please make sure you email clubsmgr@brockbusu.ca. Yeah, so I'm here. You can ask me any questions. Truly, no question is a stupid question. I would rather you all ask me and know than just not know and be in the dark. Always breaks my heart when clubs come to me at the end of the year going, oh, I really wish we took advantage of this. I had no idea it existed. I'm like, oh, I just wish you asked. It's also always on the BUSU website as well. Yeah, and then if you have any question about your ratification requirements, just email me. I'm always happy to answer like any questions that you have. Okay, so like I said, the Club Summit training. So training is completed online for you folks, but we are going to be having the next round of it again in March. So the reason why we have it in March is because the executives for like this academic year are obviously going to be transitioning out because the school year is ending. So we did elections in February, so this year would be February 2025. That Club Summit training that's happening in March of 2025 is for all the new incoming executives. So they know what's happening, everything going on, so they can hit the ground running in September. By no means do I expect you all to remember all that information that I say in that session, as well as all the other sessions that are hosted that week, but we have them recorded and then they're put on the BUSU website, so you can just refer back to them. But just so you folks know, so Ratification is from October 21st to November 8th. That's when you can submit that application. When you ratify currently, that means you're going to also be re-ratified automatically for next academic year as well. Because I don't expect you to obviously ratify now and then I don't need you to submit another form in March. Doesn't make sense. Get what I mean? So by you ratifying now, it means you're automatically ratified until April of 2026. Sound good? Perfect. Yeah, so I highly recommend you come to the training. I mean, online training, it kind of gives you the basic tools that you need to know, but I find a lot of folks get a lot of great experience out of just attending in person because a lot of people ask questions and you kind of just learn that way. Okay, so actually submitting a ratification package. So everything you need to know about submitting a ratification package is on the BUSU website, which is where I directed you folks. But the things that you need are a membership list. It can be a Word document, it can be an Excel sheet. I just need first name, last name, and BrockU emails. If you want to get real fancy, you can tell me who your president, vice president, and treasurer are in that club members list. But I ask for it in the form as well, specifically, but if you want to include it in that sheet, you can. Need your club email. Highly recommend you create a club email. Don't have it go to like one of your executive emails. I find things just get lost. It's nice to have a designated club email. You can create one for free with Gmail. A lot of clubs just do that. Plus two, I find a lot of different faculties at Brock or even just students who want to join your club will reach out to you via email, and you want to make sure that you can see that and have folks join your club. Social media pages. I don't need to know your username and password. That's for you. I just need to know your username, I just need to know your handles. So TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. If you use Discord, I need the link. Just that sort of thing, just because we put it up on our BUSU website. So once you're ratified, you're gonna have your own page on the BUSU website, and then people can join, go on that page, join your club via the BUSU website, and then find you via TikTok, Instagram, like all that stuff. Next thing is a club logo. You don't need to have it when you ratify. If you want to ratify and not have one, that's fine. Jamie, who just sits back there, he's the club's administrator. He can make you one. He does beautiful work. Yeah, and that's what he's there to do, so I highly recommend you take advantage of that. I find a lot of clubs struggle and I get these like really cute little logos and I'm like, do you really want to use that? They're like, no, can you design us one? Yeah, we can, no problem. I need to know your executive names and Brock emails. Again, that I specifically asked for that like in the form itself. It'll be like, what's your president's name? What's your president's BrockU email? Please give me the Brock email. If you don't, I will email you back saying I need the Brock email, just because I can't upload anything into our BUSU site that's not a Brock email. It will completely reject it, so I need that email. And next is a club guide. Don't be afraid, you don't have to pull this out of thin air. We have a template on the ratification form that you fill out. It literally just lays out exactly what your club is, its purpose, what the president does, what the vice president does, what the treasurer does. Like, it just kind of goes through everything. It's pretty black and white, especially being a new club. It kind of just walks you through everything. Whereas if you're a more established club like Brock Musical Theatre, they have a very extensive club guide. That's because they've been around since 2005. So I recommend just following this template. You're welcome to add to it if you want. Like if you're a club that's affiliated with like an outside organization, you can like have more specifics in there. But if you're just gonna be like a, I don't know, Monopoly club, let's say you wanna get together and play Monopoly, you can just follow that guide that I lay out. Sound good? Perfect. Okay, so the notice of approval. So once you submit that ratification submission, it is approved and you're good to go. Well, you're not good to go, you gotta wait for me, but I receive it. Now, like I said, ratification opens October 21st to November 8th. I highly, highly, highly encourage you all, please submit it between October 21st and October 30th, because I find I get like 2 submissions during that time. And then come like the 11th hour on like November 7th, I get like an influx of like 50 applications. And it obviously takes me time to go through all those. So if you want your answer right away, submit it right away. I promise you I'm looking at it, I do, but please don't email me being like, hey, what's the status on this? What's the status on this? Like, have you reviewed it yet? What? Please don't do it. Please, please, please. I promise you I will get back to you in about 3 to 5 business days. But again, if you wait till the bitter end to submit it, you're probably gonna be waiting a couple weeks just because I have obviously this to do, and then I have several other parts of my job to do. So I do try to set aside and block time off in my calendar to solely focus on this. But again, things come up, my job's really busy. So I just ask that you give me time. Sound good? Perfect. Okay, so once I send the official email that you're a Busuu Club, now what the heck is happening? So you can host meetings, you can have like a get to know us meeting or come out and see us meeting. You can plan events, which is always fun and the best part. You can conduct activities, you can volunteer. Travel, I'm not talking like you can go to the like Bermuda Triangle, no. You can go to like, let's say the Outdoors Club, for example. They travel and go on different hikes around the area. Like that's what I mean by travel. You folks will learn all about this when I send the email out, but you just have to submit all club activities to Surma and Experience BU, but all the instructions are gonna be there when I send you that approval email. When I send you that approval email, you're gonna be like, woohoo, this is a lot, because I send you everything you need to know. Please make sure you read that email. You're welcome to read a part of it, then walk away, take a break, and then come back. It just kind of sets you off on the right foot, makes you aware of everything going on. Yeah. So that's about it. It's a pretty quick presentation. I try to keep it pretty generic just because there's a lot of folks who want to start a lot of different clubs, and it tends to get tricky if I make it too specific. But I purposely made this presentation short and sweet so we had lots of time for questions. But Brock TV is going to be done filming now. So